Killer Queen Conversation.
Hello, and you are very welcome to Killer Queen Conversations, the Queen fan podcast from Shane's Queen site. On this podcast, we will be interviewing Queen fans, asking them about their favourite songs, favourite albums, how Queen became part of their life, and indeed how the music of Queen has formed the soundtrack to their lives. So without further ado, let's see who we have today. So today we're off to Somerset and we're joining Zander Wild, who is musician, YouTuber and co-founder of Axe Media and also head of post-production for Axe Media. So Zander, how are you getting on today?
I'm really good, thank you. Just like, it's River Axe Media because that's where we're based. We're on the River Axe.
Media, very good.
Yeah.
Right. For some reason I had it in my head it was just Axe Media.
So it was kind of funny when we were first trying to put the company together properly. We were trying to come up with our logos, and we were all like, we had like lots of Viking axes and stuff when we were trying to put it together, and we were like, this looks so awesome, but it doesn't look like a video production company. It does look like a record label. So who knows? Maybe one day in the future.
Actually, I do remember that. It was River Axe, yes. So apologies for that. Well done. Yes. And how are things going for you?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It can very much be feast or famine in the December period for video and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that we're actually doing okay, being we're a fairly new company. We only started back in January.
Brilliant.
The fact that December's going well. Took a little bit of getting started, but we're very, very happy. It's so much fun.
Brilliant. And for those people who don't know, we actually myself and yourself met back in 2022. We were holidaying in the area and you were actually doing selling your CD at the time.
Yeah.
We actually bought the CD off you and we went home and listened to it. And then I think it was about 2024, Easter 2024, myself and yourself and Sam played at the White Hart at the open mic night.
That's right, yeah. You're one of the first people to buy my CD. So early fan.
Early fan, yeah. So I do remember we did a very decent Bohemian Rhapsody and Don't Stop Me Now medley. So that was a good night.
That was great. That was great fun because every time I run or ran that open mic, unfortunately, isn't going anymore because the pub changed hands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, never forget.
No,
it was. People always begged me to finish on Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that was just because I had so much fun doing it or anything like that, but everybody was like, you got to finish on Bohemian Rhapsody. You got to finish on that. It's like my favorite song, of all time.
It is. You are right. It is. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I know the piano section is quite just ballady and so on, but when you do the opera section and you're getting a crowd who are enjoying themselves, joining in and doing all the high bits and the low bits and so on, and then you have the rock section, and it is a lot of fun. It's
so much fun.
And I'd say it was fun to record as well.
Oh, I can believe that. Yeah, they spent. I heard, and obviously you can tell me if this is correct or not. They actually spent the amount of time that a band would normally use in order to record an album just on that one song because there were so many layers on it.
Yeah, I think they took 10 days to record the vocal overdubs on their own. Just the overdubs, not the piano section, the guitars, just the overdubs. Yeah. And at one point, the tape was running so much that they were taking the oxide off the layer. You can nearly see through it.
Yes, I heard about that as well. That's insane to think. I mean, nowadays people are overdubbing on their music production. You can do 100, you can do 200. You could, if you're insane, do 1,000.
I think they had 184 or is it 181 tracks being used. Bounce. Yeah,
that's so much.
Yeah,
and so maybe you can also tell me because it was all analog back then.
Yeah,
if things started good because they had to do it over and over and over the tape. Would it be a case that they would, if they recorded something really wrong, they'd have to scrap like sections of the tape and start again?
Once you have your 23 track, or maybe if they're doing it in stereo, they had to use 22 tracks and bounce them onto 2 stereo tracks. But once you had those 22 tracks full, you had to say, are we happy with this? And we're committing that when this gets bounced over, we can't change any of that. So there is definitely a commit area there going on that you have to be certain that what you have banked on your 22 tracks, when you bounce them over, and you are right, if you kind of went to a point when you kind of went, actually, that's wrong, you have to re-record all those 22 all over again and start again. So yeah, it was it.
That's
Huge
mad.
project. A
We're,
huge
we're
project.
we're so blessed these days. The things that
We're
we're able to
spoiled.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, spoiled. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
better way of putting
Yeah.
it.
We are. Yeah. But at the same time, that there was something special about looking at those the tapes going in the background, and you know, I think you took time over your music. Nowadays, we've got so much automation that maybe I'm not sure if it's true or not. I've seen a thing on social media saying that Freddie said once digital comes in, you lose the soul of the music. Now, I find that quote is hard to believe because he died in '91, and digital wasn't all that. Huge back then, you know. I mean, the Miracle and Innuendo, I'm not sure how much of that was digital versus analog, but yeah, we are in a very privileged position these days to actually have on our laptops recording facilities like GarageBand at a basic level and Logic at a more advanced area, you know.
Yeah,
But,
I was chuffed to bits when I started using Logic. In fact, that was the only reason I got an Apple Mac. Was because I had a friend of mine who's a producer, and he was showing me some of the things that it did, and I just fell in love with it so quickly. So, you know, I could have gone for like, is it like Cubase or Pro Tools? I think those are like industry standards in a lot of in a lot of the industry. And those I think would have worked on my Windows. But because I was just so into Logic, I was like, no, I've got to focus on this, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah, I did have a recording system on the PC, but I found after 4 tracks I was getting latency, terrible latency.
Right. Yeah.
But now on the Mac, you've got nothing. There's no delay. Everything is perfect. So I mean, they do say when you go Mac, you don't go back, which is pretty true. So look, getting
from a
back
creative standpoint.
sorry?
From a creative standpoint, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I know this isn't about Mac versus PC. I just prefer the UI of a Windows. I can find it more personable.
Yeah.
The things that I'm able to do for video and for music on a Mac, I'm not looking back.
No. Well, look, getting back to the Queen stuff anyway. Now, obviously, you play guitar. Do you play anything else?
Not particularly well, but I play guitar and I sing. I have been like bass player and drummer in a band. I'm classically trained in violin, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I started at, God, how old was I? Like 7, I think it was. I did that for about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, got my grade 4, that sort of thing. Performed in the school orchestra. Did a little bit of that. It was nothing I followed too religiously. But it was in my early mid-teen years was when I discovered the power of the electric guitar. I already knew about Queen at this point.
Yeah.
But up to that point, outside of Queen, all I was really listening to was like Madness, bit of James Blunt, you know, things like that. So kind of a bit of a weird mix in some regards. Jean-Michel Jarre was really getting into.
Very good. Yeah, actually, the first album I ever bought was Oxygen Part 4. Whatever that was on, whatever album that was on, and I thought it was all going to be like Oxygen Part 4, the famous one that everyone knows, but it was very, very eclectic. You know, I was kind of going, wow, it was like not what I was expecting. It was like really out there, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was what I do enjoy, kind of like more interesting music, like stuff that doesn't necessarily follow the 4-chord structure. Things that, you know, do maybe have some odd choices and colors.
Yeah,
because it keeps me interested. You know,
and in a way, Bohemian Rhapsody does that. Back to what we were talking, because when you're going from the guitar solo, which is E flat, it changes then to A major, which is actually the highest key change you can have in music, which is called, I think it's called the tritone change.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens in the Top Gun theme. The same change, the same jump going from whatever key it's in to the next key up. Those changes are the exact same. It's exactly 6 semitones or 3 whole tones.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. But how did you first discover Queen? Like, what was playing in your house when you were growing up?
What was playing in my house? So, not a huge amount of music,
right?
To be honest, that's the thing. People are quite surprised. I came to music very, very late.
Me too.
It was the kind of stuff that was on the local radio station, which was the same 10 terrible pop songs over and over again. But apparently, they had the best traffic news, so we had to listen to it.
Right.
The music of the TV show Heartbeat, which was set back in the 60s. So I heard a lot of like classic 60s music, but more 60s pop again. And anything playing on VH1 whilst we were having Sunday dinner.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was actually where I first heard Bohemian Rhapsody. Sat down having Sunday roast with the parents. TV's on in the background, VH1 playing, a few things, a bit of T'Pau and a bit of I don't know why I specifically remember T'Pau, but that was one of the other ones I watched.
Yeah.
I heard. And then suddenly I hear, "Is this the real life?" Within 10 seconds, there's like little 6-year-old me just constant. I'm not paying attention to dinner anymore. My parents are getting really angry with me because I can't stop watching Bohemian Rhapsody on the TV. Every time it comes on, I just get really excited. So they tell me the history of it. They say, "Oh yeah, it was the first, it was the first music video. Oh, these effects had never been seen before. Lots of really cool stuff like that." And so I was always very interested at that point. But I never thought to expand my knowledge about Queen until like many years later when I started getting more into music.
So was that the first Queen song you ever heard in that case? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. There weren't that many more Queen songs that I heard for a good few years, being quite young sort of thing. And again, not a huge amount of music playing in my house. It was kind of like down to me to just kind of organically pick it up from other places and find out that it was Queen. And it's okay, hang on.
Was any of your friends into Queen or anything like that you know of? Or
no, at the time it was mostly Spice Girls and S Club Party.
Okay, yeah, I know the era in that case.
Yeah, there we go. You understand my plight.
Music seemed to change in the 90s very quickly into the dance and the poppy.
It was really strange. It was really strange. I think America had it better because they had a lot more access to the rock music over there.
They did,
but in the UK, it was mostly girl power and boy bands.
True. I mean, I think around that time, around 92, 93, bands like Queensryche, Firehouse, Nelson, they were all still doing rock, extreme. They were still, and before it moved into grunge, obviously. But for me, it was around 92, 93 that I started getting into Queen.
Yeah.
So my cousin gave me Queen 2, which is the second album, which has all the proggy stuff on it. So what was your first Queen album that you actually got?
Greatest Hits Volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, did you get them as the compilation? Or
I got the full compilation. Yeah. So actually, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that because I had that as a CD. So that was what I first heard. Like to this day, the arrangement on it was so particular that when I hear the end of one Queen song, I automatically think it's going to go into the next one that's on that album.
Yes.
Like I have to hear it to say it. I think it was something like, I can't remember what the order was off the top of my head, but if I get to the end of any Queen song, I automatically start thinking about the next one that was on that album. But my dad came round yesterday and he actually dropped off. I've got them right here.
Oh, very good.
DVDs. Greatest Hits 1 and 2 on DVD. And I was just like, I remembered sitting down, not long after getting the CD versions, I remember getting these and I would sit down and just watch both of them in their entirety, one after the other on like a Saturday afternoon. It's like,
there is a really funny promo video for those two DVDs on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Where Brian May and Roger Taylor have commandeered a DVD store, and the person who's shopkeeper is actually on the ground tied up, and they're only flogging. The whole store only has Greatest Hits fixed 1 and 2 all over the walls. And somebody comes in and asks for something and says, "Well, we don't have that, but we do have Greatest Hits 1 and 2, or the Greatest Video Hits 1 and 2." So have a look at that on
I have to check that out
on YouTube. So just look for Greatest Video Hits promo, and you'll see John and Roger in it. So but based on the fact that now you've shown the DVDs with the video hits, what's your favorite Queen video?
That is a tough one. I mean, the obvious answer is that Bohemian Rhapsody will always have a place in my heart because it was the very first, and we always remember our first sort of thing.
That's true.
Gateway that gets us in.
Yeah.
It is tough. Like Innuendo scared me a bit when I saw that one because it's so like artistic and stylized, and the song's quite like deep as well, isn't it? So that was definitely a good one. It's a Kind of Magic. That was really cool.
Fun. Yeah,
that was a really, really fun one like that.
I like the Miracle with the train.
Oh yes, that was Breakthrough.
Breakthrough. Sorry, yes.
That was it. Yeah, Breakthrough was my favorite song for like.
Yeah, it's a great song. It has movement, with that bass line.
Yeah, I think probably for it changes depending on where I am sort of thing. But Breakthrough was definitely probably one of those like it's not a deep cut because it was a single, but it was definitely one of those ones that maybe people don't know quite as popularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good song and a really good music video. So it's so much fun.
Yeah. I think you're right with Breakthrough that really it's not one that's played very much. You don't hear it on the radio.
No.
You might see it on video channels, and I think MTV are closing down a lot of their channels this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I heard recently that they're closing down a lot of their niche channels, like 90s, 80s. They're probably going to be ending up with 1 or 2 channels left. So, which is
well, I mean, they pushed music videos. Like, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Many of the wonderful music videos that are out there now.
Yeah. So obviously we've come to Queen like after Freddie had died. So have you ever seen a Queen tribute?
I've only seen one Queen tribute, actually. It was at a Christmas party, Christmas party a few years ago, actually. And apparently these guys had done Glasgow and things. I can't remember what they were called now. It was a little while ago.
It's not the Great Pretenders by any chance?
No, it was... I want to say they might have been called Miracle or something.
Oh, Miracle, yes.
I think it was Miracle.
I have them linked on the website under tribute bands.
Cool. Oh, there we go.
I'm nearly sure that it's called Miracle. Yeah, I think they're based in the South Coast.
Right, yeah. I think it was those, but don't quote me on that necessarily. But I remember watching it and I was really enjoying it. But I thought, the singer's got a nice little bit of power behind him, the guitarist, he's really playing into Brian May sort of stuff. And I got chatting to a couple of other guys who I work with, and I said, I'm really liking these guys. Yeah. And one of them just went, So what do you mean, I saw the original. These guys, they're fine. It's like, shut up.
Wow. Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, how could you be like that? I mean, you can't compare them to the original.
No.
So it was just such a weird thing to hear because I thought, they were doing honest recreations. They were, pretty good. They clearly weren't doing a karaoke version, which is my problem with some cover bands.
Yeah.
Is that they do just sound like band karaoke.
Yeah.
They weren't taking it and making brand new songs or anything, but they were sort of just bringing out, it's like, hey, we're performing Queen and we're having a good time. And I really appreciated that. And I thought that was good. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think, look, obviously Queen themselves would have lived and breathed every single song that they ever wrote. And when they're on tour, they have the night after night after night after night rendition.
Yeah.
So they can perfect that. Tribute bands, like, you have your day-to-day job. This is only something you do in the background just to entertain. So it has to be entertainment, and it has to be your personality has to come through. And there's some fantastic bands out there who just do that, So, like, for me, I think it's more along the lines of, are the crowd entertained?
Yeah.
Have you portrayed the songs in such a way that they can enjoy the songs and sing along?
That should always be the case. It does annoy me, as I said, when people think, oh, they're not the original.
Unless
they have to provide it. Sorry, what was that?
Musicians, maybe they're failed musicians, and you have the whole musician thing, but where the guy is standing, this musician thing where it's like, you ever see that? Where if the guys on the corner who want to be up there playing, but they don't want to be playing, and they're kind of grumpy that they're kind of like,
oh my God,
that, or
And then they always have an opinion about how it could have been done better. You know the old musician joke, don't you? Just how many musicians does it take to change a light bulb?
No, don't know.
5. 1 to change the light bulb and 4 more to say how they do it differently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get that. Yeah, that's fair enough. I can see exactly where you're coming from. Yeah. No, I do like going to a show, regardless of if it doesn't have to be Queen. It could be any music show, and just enjoying what somebody is doing with an instrument.
Yeah.
And just focusing in. I can do that. Some people can't do it, but I can listen only to the guitar or bass or synth, or I can just pop on and listen to the drum and find out what he's doing with that. And I always like doing that at a show because you're appreciating someone's talent and enjoying what they're doing, what their interpretation of something might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those guys. It's being able to lock into those individual tracks, into the individual musician. It does give you a bit of an appreciation about what they're doing.
That's it.
I really found that, and actually that was almost to my detriment for a little while, because I got so focused on that sort of thing. I found that I wasn't able to appreciate the band as a whole. I was only able to appreciate the individual parts. Actually took a bit of training for me to like take a step back and go, right, okay, no, the guitar's great, but what does it mean in context? That's really important to appreciate it on both levels. It just, and once I finally managed to do that, it allowed me to appreciate things so much more, especially something with 137 tracks like Bohemian Rhapsody. When I became a musician and I listened back to this crazy track that I saw when I was a kid eating Sunday lunch, and now I can, not quite, I'm not that talented, but I can almost hear every single layer now. And I'm like, that's incredible, that's incredible, that's incredible. Together, it's so incredible. It is. It's fantastic.
And what was interesting about the multi-track, because I actually have the multi-track, when you listen to it in isolation, there are some tracks that Freddie just comes in and just goes maybe something like, I'm just a sympathy. So he doesn't do all of them. He just does the bits that need a bit of extra boosting here and there. There's gaps there for something else to come in, and it's a very, very, you got to remember that was only the 4th album, and already he's almost an expert in the studio. You know, he's seeing all this in his head. And if you actually listen to the end of a song called March of the Black Queen, it's almost like the end of Bohemian Rhapsody. It has that little lovely glissando guitar effect that Brian is doing. Piano is very mellow. It's very, very similar. The way it just goes into a rhyme at the end. And I think they were trying out some of the things back on that album, back on the Queen 2 album. But like, I would love to go back to the 90s or 70s or 80s and see Queen. I mean, if you had a time machine and just jump in, like, what Queen concert would you go and see if you could see one?
So it's one that I have a DVD of. It was one of the first DVDs that I got of any kind of music. And it was them at Wembley, the Kind of Magic tour, I think it was. And people
Mine
always
too, by
say,
the way.
Sorry?
Mine too.
Oh, there we go.
Mine first,
Excellent, fun, wonderful taste. People always say about Wembley Live Aid, and I've got an incredibly controversial opinion in which I'm like, it's good. That's it. I don't feel that it was quite as engaging for me as their Wembley concert on the Kind of Magic tour. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I saw their concert first. Again, and that was kind of like the thing. I was comparing them in the wrong way. Which I absolutely appreciate, but loads of people absolutely love the Live Aid concert. But for me, just the full, I think it was like 3 hours, just everything, like the way every single person, apart from John Deacon, like says something to the crowd at some point, how they build things up and bring it down over the course of such a long period of time. The inflatable blokes that they have, balloons that fly up during Kind of Magic.
One of those inflatable balloons ended up in someone's garden. Because it was filled so much, it actually floated off and landed in someone's garden a few miles away.
I can picture it now. I remember seeing it, and I can picture it right now, the floating up in the air.
My uncle gave me a VHS copy of that concert, which was actually shown on the Tube, Channel 4 music program at that time. So, although I had never seen or listened to a Queen album, I had seen that concert, and I was blown away by it because they actually have a very, very good usage of the set list. So the first 2 songs blow you away. It's One Vision followed by Tie Your Mother Down. The transition between One Vision into Tie Your Mother Down is really interesting. It's kind of like an E flat into an F sharp to, I think it's an A, and they're moving through like circles of and that sort of thing. And then they're doing like a chromatic jump up through the scale to get to a D. And then you're starting Tie Your Mother Down, which is just incredible. Like any other band would just stop and start the song.
It was massively inspirational for me. Like when I was doing covers in my old prog rock band, I was always thinking it was what would Queen do every single time. It's like, hey, we've got these 2 songs that go really well together. Can we do some kind of transition? As you were saying, like that, can we find a way to get from one key to the next? Some kind of
it's actually a very good musical test for yourself, just to have 2 songs and try and merge them together into something. And how can you get there? Interestingly and creatively.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to test. I mean, sometimes they don't work. We've all made mistakes.
What was the
one that I did that I was particularly proud of? I think it was my dad's 60th. We were doing a concert for him. We were doing a performance for him, and I think we managed to somehow go from Steppenwolf, Born to Be Wild, into the last half of Echoes by Pink Floyd.
Wow.
That took a bit of practice. I can tell you that for nothing, but it was, Born to Be Wild, one of my favourite songs. Zander Wild Right Here, all that kind of stuff.
Very good. Nice. Yeah.
And Echoes, Pink Floyd, one of my dad's favourite bands, and he actually made a joke when I said, "What songs do you want me to play?" He said, "Oh, play Echoes," as if to say, "It's like, oh, you're not going to do a 22-minute long song, are you?" It's like, just you wait and see, Dad.
Nice.
And so putting that one in was a fun challenge, and it worked, and we were very happy, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have thought to do that had it not been for Queen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's they do. Like I always tell people that Freddie was my piano teacher, because up until Queen came into my life, I knew like a few chords on the piano, and I knew what a chord was, but I knew no music theory. I knew no details of how a song goes together, or how you actually internalize music and feel the music, so you don't have to learn. If you understand, like I no longer learn sheet music or whatever. I try and get the song. I try and understand how the song works, where it's going. Because when we're doing a show, like you have no sheet music in front of you, and you might do 90 minutes, and you just have to be able to go with it. And there was one time our guitarist had to change a string, and we had downtime. So I came up with, what do I have in my internal catalog, which is about 6 minutes long, that I can do. And I did Who Wants to Live Forever unaccompanied, just on piano, which is like the forever version that's on the album Kind of Magic. So I just had that. And by internalizing the music, you're not like, because when I worked using sheets and sheet music, I always felt it was a crutch.
Yeah.
Because you're always trying to, what's the next chord? What's the next chord? What's the next chord? And if you're all the time doing that, you never enjoy your music. You're always worried about what's coming next.
Yeah.
And you can never progress. So definitely getting rid of sheet music in front of me was the best thing I ever did from that perspective, And all the Queen, And
I can really see that. I agree with what you say in many respects. I'm classically trained, so violinists always have sheet music.
Sure.
So the first thing I obviously hear from my violinist brain from 25 years ago is, why don't you have sheet? How do you know how to play, sort of thing? But the blues musician in me, which evolved during my teenage years of picking up the guitar, says, "Yeah, man, right on. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's it's easy to play and hard to feel, and you need to be able to feel it to get real good emotion out of it." Yeah. And also, Shane, I know that you've got a really good ear, because when we were playing a bit of music, me, you, and Sam just found at his place, I think I just said a song at one point, played it to you. Next thing I know, there you were. You played it all out, and I was like, "How the? I'm impressed. Like I can't do that."
It's kind of where I started off. Around '84, my parents got me a keyboard for Christmas, and I found that I could listen to a TV tune. So I learned Airwolf, and I learned Dallas, purely like just one key, playing the tune. But it went in, And, and I think just it all stems from that, So it's a nice thing to be able to have, that you can just kind of go, well, what's it doing? And I don't think it's anything. No, like. It's not something that's in me. It's something that is, if you look at the patterns.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, if you're trying to do something by ear, listen to the bass note. That gives you a good idea what chord it is. Is it major? Is it minor? Diminished, augmented, that sort of thing. That gives you a chance to understand what the chord is doing. But if you can listen to the bass run, you get a fairly decent idea what chords are being used, So that's kind of, I have a video online on YouTube on how to play songs by ear, and I just basically have that outlined as being one of the key things you can do to help yourself understand what chord it is, and then you can build it from there, because you're listening in for the intervals within that.
No, I think that's a really good way of doing it, because when I try to learn things by ear, I would actually do it literally the opposite way around. I would hear, like, it was obviously easier if there was a melody. I'd work out the melody, and then I'd work out the harmonies under it.
Okay.
which is kind of like that's
So
the
you're
weird way.
top down rather
Yeah.
than the
Yeah, I always used to work top down. There were some times where I would be able to learn it from a bass line. I found that worked better on pop music.
yeah, it does,
So pop music bottom up, and a lot of rock music, well, sort of like more prog, more blues, jazz stuff from the top down, I found.
Yeah. So just getting back to the Queen stuff yourself, like, do you have a favorite Queen song?
So at the moment, it's probably 39 because I find myself playing that constantly.
Great song.
Like I finally worked out how to do the ding 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 and play it correctly. I sat down for like a day to get it just right because there's something about that kind of like country rhythm which I always really struggled with. So it was like I literally took a day to really understand how the strumming pattern worked that made it sound better than da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then it just resonated with me so well that every time I pick up a guitar, I find myself going ding 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 ding, and I keep
it's a lovely song. It's a lovely song.
It's such a lovely song, so satisfying to play, and obviously Brian May, absolutely tremendous.
So would Brian be your favorite Queen member?
He definitely has to be. He's the reason I play guitar and the reason I went to university. So because he's an astrophysicist and I went to university for physics.
Wow, that's fair enough. Well, look, that's a really good answer on that one. Yeah, fantastic.
Who's your favorite one then? Is it?
See, because of the keys, because the keyboards, and because like I feel that without Freddie playing the way he plays, I just got a lot from his songs.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that when Brian plays piano, I find it easier to play Brian songs because I kind of understand how he plays. He plays it totally different way than Freddie. Freddie's all power and precision, and he's like metronomic is a word that many people have used to describe the way he plays.
Yeah.
Where Brian is more kind of gentle. So songs like Save Me and All Dead, All Dead, they're Brian songs on piano. So you can get a feel for how he plays versus, but definitely the styles there. But I love Brian from the point of view of he's keeping the Queen community alive at the moment with the way he's doing things online. And obviously somebody I would love to meet because like there's so much, he's a very interesting guy,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would love the opportunity to meet him. If ever I got the chance, I'd absolutely love that. Yeah. He was actually, there were rumors that he was going to go to Bristol back in 2011, I think it was, because he's not to turn this political or anything like that, but it was part of the Badger Cull that was going on, and there was a massive protest. And he was going there to talk, and I was getting really excited. It was like, oh my god, I get to see Brian May in real life, sort of thing. And unfortunately, he wasn't there. I can't remember what the reason was, but I was absolutely gutted. They had the actress who played Ginny Weasley from Harry Potter there.
Okay.
Instead, so I was just kind of like, okay, fine.
Not Brian May,
not Brian May, but but that was it. That was the closest I ever got to actually like seeing him, sort of thing. I was just that was not. But yeah, I'd love to meet him someday.
Do you think there's a Queen song that deserves more love? In other words, like a Queen song that's out there that no one really knows is Queen, or a song that might be a deep cut that you kind of go, I wish this had been released as a single because it deserves to be more out there, Yeah,
I know what you mean. Because they've got such like a wealth and such a range of music, it can be hard to like pin one down for any particular reason.
Yeah.
Because their sound changed so much from their early days. Like, they've got some kind of like punk stuff like really early on.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of musical theatre kind of stuff, and then a lot more, very kind of almost glam stuff in the 80s. I really like Prophet's song on Night at the Opera as well. I mean, that was the first like
that's amazing. It's an
album. That's a really good one. From a prog rock point of view, I would say the Prophet song needs to have a little bit more love.
Excellent.
From I think, things from Miracle, the songs from Miracle should really be heard about a lot more. Like Miracle, Scandal, Breakthrough.
Scandal, fantastic song. Yeah.
Right? But people never talk about that album. And,
that's true.
At least I've never heard anybody talk about it. Everybody always goes for, One Vision, a kind of magic, which are all tremendous songs. but don't let that diminish your opportunity. You know,
Yeah, true.
there's so many great things.
There is,
Don't rely on Spotify Shuffle. Actually go in, find yourself
yeah.
one that you haven't listened to, and give it a whirl. And I can guarantee that within, you know, worst case scenario, 3 songs, you'll be like, oh, I might have just found my new one that I'm gonna. This one's going on my Wrapped at the end of the year, definitely.
Excellent. I would definitely recommend that if anyone is out there who has listened to the Miracle and didn't like it, go back in now and listen to the deluxe version, which has 4 discs or 3 or 4 discs. They include B versions or demo versions of the song, so you get to hear Miracle, for example, with a different drum beat, or you get to hear Breakthrough with actual drums and things like that. So you can actually hear songs. I think one of them is "I Want It All." And Freddie is there and he's going doom 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 doom, and he's bringing in this like weird thing, and then suddenly goes straight into "I Want It All," and it's kind of going, how did that just happen? You know, it's like a Freddie idea that they didn't really get to the end, but yeah. So you get to hear actually the band in the studio having a riff between each other. Then they start into a song. And it's a nice legacy piece too, but definitely the deluxe version is nice because you have all that extra content there, you know.
I'll have to check out the deluxe version in that case, because I've, you know, obviously my main consumption of it was from the Queen Greats, not that one, the other one, but from the DVD. So I need to sit down and listen to the full thing.
Would A Night at the Opera be the album that you listen to most?
Well, I listened massively to Greatest Hits 1, 2, and 3 when I first got it. I remember that was almost like a daily listen to me for a while. So it's kind of hard to say in that regard. I think over the years it's probably become more Night at the Opera, but it just, in terms of sheer like concentration of listening, it was definitely Greatest Hits in the early days.
Yeah, Greatest Hits 1. I remember hearing it at a party. I was at a party in probably late 80s, early 90s. And a friend of mine had Greatest Hits 1. He put it on and he said, listen to this. And it was Now I'm Here. And I always remember him kind of banging his legs because of the drum beat that was in it, you know, and he was kind of watching this. He goes, boom, boom, on the section where it goes from the A to the D at the very start. And I always remember that. I always remember how passionate he was about the percussion in that song. And I do remember Brian May actually said that if you leave any blank tape in your car, over time it'll actually turn into Greatest Hits 1. You know, so it's a very interesting because everyone had a copy of it. No matter where you were, someone had a copy, whether it was the original or a copy or a copy of a copy.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's still the case because I haven't checked this data for nearly a decade now. But I did check it quite regularly for several years. And Greatest Hits 1 was I think, second, or might even for a little while, the best-selling album in the UK, and that was ahead of Thriller, Saturday Night Fever, that Oasis one that everybody seems to have, and James Blunt. It was it.
Yeah, I think ABBA Gold is number 1. And,
ABBA Gold, right? That makes sense. Yeah,
Queen Greatest Hits 1 is number 2, and I think it has spent over 1,045 weeks in the charts or something like that. That was the last time I checked it. Anyway, obviously, if it's back in the charts,
it pops in every now and again. Every time that something comes out. Every time that something comes out with relation to Queen, it just like trickles back into the charts, doesn't it? And then hangs around for a little while.
It does. Did you see the Bohemian Rhapsody movie?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
Again, another controversial opinion. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think that Rami Malek was really well chosen.
Yeah, he was great. And actually, think of Brian May in that film. Because when I was watching it, I thought Brian May had dubbed his audio.
Yeah.
It sounds just like him.
It could have been Brian. Like, I was convinced that there was... I mean, this was before, like, AI deepfakes were a big thing. This was, like, 7? Yeah. Oh, it was a little while ago that it came out now, wasn't it?
2018.
2018, yeah, so 7 years ago. 7 years ago. If it came out now, I would have assumed that it was deepfakes.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was just... Definitely those two were so well cast.
Yeah. Malek has the structure of his face, for example, and the way he did things very, very good.
Yeah. I heard that Rami Malek...
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I heard that Rami Malek didn't have a choreographer. They gave him a movement coach instead. Because let's face it, you try and copy Freddie, you've got no hope. So what instead they did was teach him how to move like Freddie rather than to move as Freddie, if that makes sense.
I think that's a very, very good point because like you can't really choreography or choreograph somebody just to copy a movement. I think it would come across as being very obvious, just you're copying someone rather than actually being free. And like if you watch the way he moves on stage at the Live Aid portion of Bohemian Rhapsody, he does a very, very good job.
He does. Yeah.
The only thing I would say about the movie is, like, I did watch it recently, and I found some of the sections harder to watch on my third or fourth viewing than, which probably would mean that, like, there's a lot of rumors about second Bohemian Rhapsody being made, and I think that would be a huge mistake because you're going into really dark territory with Freddie's illness and all that. It'd be a very hard watch, so I don't.
That was meant to be in the first film, though, wasn't it? Because that was part of the point of contention with Sacha Baron Cohen, who was originally going to be Freddie. He was chatting to Brian and Roger, and they said it was like, "Oh, this is going really well," and there's such like a so impressive, like what happens at 2/3 point, and he said, "What happens at 2/3 point?" It's like, "Well, Freddie dies." And he said, "Who's?" And Sacha's argument was, "Who's going to watch a Bohemian Rhapsody film with no Freddie for a third of it?" And I was kind of like on the fence about what he was saying there, because it's an important part of the Queen legacy.
Yeah.
Because, his death was, it sent a ripple through the world, both on the musical world, the LGBTQ plus world, the health world, all of that sort of stuff. And, Queen did still do things, and Freddie still had an impact after his death.
Yeah.
So seeing the repercussions, or whatever the best word is, from that point onwards, would be very interesting. Would it make a good film? Which, let's face it, is kind of the main criteria. For the film to be successful.
Yeah, true. It's a tricky one to go towards, but then again, as you said, like Mercury Phoenix Trust was set up after the tribute concert.
Yep.
We're in a situation now that if you do turn out that you're HIV positive, you have a tablet you can take. It doesn't progress.
Yep.
It can't be transmitted. People are not dying of this anymore. And you wonder, is it a case that after Freddie's death, so much was made of this health implication, that so much money was put into it, so much effort was put into it, that we're in this situation now. So, I think good things have come from the message that was sent at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
I think that's
an interesting one.
Having a whole film dedicated to that might be a bit on the heavy side. It definitely wouldn't have the impact of the first one, because the thing that everybody knows about Queen is Bohemian Rhapsody, Killer Queen, their gig at Live Aid, ending it on that high. I think from a storytelling perspective,
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think ending it on that high was probably the best move.
Yeah, I still get butterflies or tingles when we see that drone shot coming in over Wembley, going down over the crowd and then coming back in under the piano. It's like, wow. It's like,
imagine if they had drones back in Live Aid.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. So in relation to Queen themselves, like, what do you think is Freddie's best vocal?
I'm trying not to repeat answers that I've had before, because obviously Prophet's song was really good, and his performance at Hyde Park, where he just kind of goes nuts for 5 minutes, just on his own, that's phenomenal. From the Queen live at Wembley one, where he was doing it's called Impromptu, I think it was, or something like that. There was a little jazzy thing in the middle. When I first watched that, I didn't get it. It was like 3 or 4 watches before I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he does that very well.
I'm weirdly entertained by his vocals in Brighton Rock. I know that song is about the guitar.
It's a very good song, yeah.
It's a good song. I know it's more about the guitar. It's almost entirely about the guitar.
Yeah.
But that bit is like...
He goes from power into head voice very quickly. Yeah.
It's so clever.
He's a very talented in the way he does stuff. I think for the Wembley show, his performance for Lap of the Gods, Revisited, the third song. You're only the third song in, and already you're belting it out instead of just preserving the voice for later on in the show. No, he's giving it everything in that song.
He's going for it. It was interesting. Now that I'm a better musician, vocalist, and all that kind of stuff. I did watch some more clips of that show.
Yeah.
Again, only a couple of years ago, and I was watching it, and about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through the whole show, so I think it's like, oh wait, hang on, no, I can actually now hear Freddie's voice cracking. He has really pushed himself here.
He has, yeah.
The great thing was that it didn't detract from the performance.
No.
Right? It doesn't matter if you're a little bit flat or a little bit sharp sometimes, in these instances, obviously. Because what's it they say? It's the wrong note in the right place is better than the right note in the wrong place. And he was still able to put on a great performance, and you could see his passion, and you could see that he was still in control.
Is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what made them, even though he was maybe like 10 or as much as 15 cents off from many of his notes by the time he got to the end of the night.
Yeah.
The energy of himself and the band and the audience, the atmosphere, it did not matter because everything, it was still a terrific performance and still terrific music.
Yeah.
So good.
The only thing I don't like about the Wembley show is the fact that they broke We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions in two and shoved Friends Will Be Friends in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, which a lot of people don't like because they're always the double.
Yeah. Friends Will Be Friends. I would put that as quite a weak Queen song for me. It's not one of my favourites.
No. It's not one of mine either. It's a bit wishy-washy is the word I'd use. Yeah,
I think it could have been a lot more, There wasn't enough energy and passion in that one. It did feel very weak compared to what I'm expecting from Queen. They don't all have to be like mad bangers, but that one just seemed a bit out of place to me.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I run a thing called the Champions of Queen League on the website, where all their songs get pitted head to head.
Yep.
So if there's 10 tracks on an album, it'll be every single song against the other 9.
Yeah.
And people will vote on the head-to-head. So, for example, at the moment, it's The Game. We're on round 4, and it's things like Crazy Little Thing Called Love versus Save Me. Now, you might love both songs. Now, what do you do?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I need to think about that one.
So it's things like that. And like you might say, okay, you know what, I'll give Save Me the buy on that one, and I'll click on that one. And then the next round, it might be Crazy Little Thing Called Love versus Dragon Attack.
Yeah.
You kind of go, well, definitely Crazy Little Thing Called Love. So what happens then, after everything happens, then I tally up all the scores. So on the head-to-head, if a track wins, it gets 3 points, like a soccer league. And if it draws, it gets 1. And at the very end, we tally up all the points, and the top 2 or 3 will go into the final, where all of the best songs from all the albums will get pitted against each other.
Right.
So we're at 1980 at the moment with The Game. 79, 80, and so I think the album was released in 80, and some of the songs were released just slightly before that. But so that's an interesting one now to just see how a kind of magic will work out and how Friends Will Be Friends will be portrayed.
Make sure you follow and subscribe so that you can find out the results. That's to the audience.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do a video on that every time we have the album completed. There's a full video showing the results and some information then about the songs themselves. But so if you yourself had a chance to meet the band, would there be anything you'd ask them? Now, this can be either the band as they are right now, which is just John and Roger. Sorry, Brian and Roger. Or if you wanted to ask the full band back in 1986 as a question, when everyone is there, what would you ask them?
That is a very difficult question, to be honest. I would I can guarantee you that right now my answer would not be what I would actually probably do, because I know that I would keep changing my mind up until I actually met them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'd love to talk to Brian about physics, actually. Right? Because as I said, he was the reason why I went to university to study. I want to know what got him into physics and how all that shaped his life.
Yeah.
And I want to know a bit more about that story of him. He was a part-time physicist and a full-time rock star.
Yeah.
And then 20, 30 years later, whatever it was, he managed to finally get his PhD and become Dr. Brian May. And I want to know the story about that. Roger, I want to know what kind of vocal training Roger had
Yeah.
Because those notes, absolutely insane. I love his rock voice. You know, I'm in love with my car.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't stop belting that when that comes up. Freddie asking him about his creative process, like when he sits down, does he think, I want to compose something? Does he wait for inspiration to strike? And how does he capture that? There's all those great stories, like he wrote Crazy Little Thing Called Love on the piano in a bath.
Yeah.
And yet it starts with that ding 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 on the guitar, and
I think it was in the bath on the guitar.
Oh, it was on the
And
guitar. I heard that he had a piano wheeled in because he didn't want to get out of the bath, and he started playing it there. I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
nearly sure because I read there's a guy called Peter Ratty Hintz.
Yeah.
He was the roadie. And Peter asked me to review his book back in 2012. And we had a brief conversation on email about Freddie and a few things like that. But I'm nearly sure in his book he said that he was in the hotel and Freddie was shouting for his guitar. Now,
right.
Again, it's been a long time since I read that book, but I'm nearly sure that it was.
I'm going to trust.
What was interesting was that around that time they're being inspired by so many other things. Like they saw the Tour de France passing their hotel because they were living and they had moved to France and Switzerland for the whole year because they were paying something like 96% tax in the UK.
Yeah.
So for the jazz album, and then later on for the game, which Crazy Thing Called Love is on, they were out of the UK quite a lot from recording in places like Switzerland and Super Bear Studios in France. And when they saw the Tour de France going past, that's when they wrote Bicycle Race and Fat Bottom Girls.
Oh wow, there we go.
Yeah. So they're being inspired by all of these things, but the songs are being produced very, very fast.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, his creative juices were flowing very, very well. I mean, who could have brought out Mustafa, like the first song off Jazz?
Oh my God, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When I heard that first, I was kind of going, "What have Queen done?" It's like, wow.
How do you come up with these things? Where
if for anybody listening and they're kind of going, but it's only a song, try and play it. It has all of the kind of Middle Eastern scales being replicated in the chords that are being played. It's a just phenomenal song to listen to, and I think I've learned some of the words. I'm not sure if I'm learning correctly or not, but I love singing along to that song because it's just so weird.
It is a very, very weird song. That one and is just that the legitimate subject. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a track break. They just wanted to put something in there. Yeah, it's the shortest Queen song out there. At 1 second.
John Deacon, though, I think that he's the man it'd be most difficult to ask because he's incredibly reclusive.
Yeah.
So out of respect, I kind of don't want to ask anything too personal, but also the burning question is, John, where have you gone?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I saw a photo of him recently. He looks quite just.
He basically retired, didn't he? Because he started an electronics store or something. I heard rumors he started like he had a shop in London or something. I heard.
Right. Okay.
Again, could be entirely apocryphal, but everybody will come up with some kind of any kind of story in order to answer the questions that nobody's ever going to know the answer to.
Yeah.
And you know, I respect his wishes to want to stay out of the limelight, to be honest. But if I was granted an answer, it would obviously be, hey, where have you gone? What are you doing? Are you well?
Yeah, that's it exactly. Are you doing okay? Yeah. I think I would probably do the same thing that you would have done for Freddie. I would have asked him about his creativeness and how he comes up with piano lines. And I know he had a problem writing lyrics. He always said he wasn't a good lyricist. You know,
his lyrics are. There was an argument that we always had when I was back at school about whether or not Freddie Mercury could be constituted as a good lyricist. Like, because some of it's all about creativity and expression at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they say that art is made for the consumer, but the first consumer is the creator. So as long as it matters to Freddie, that is technically all that matters in terms of creative, in terms of the creative process. But insofar as being able to understand what he's trying to say, if we think that he's actually expressing himself appropriately through his lyrics, that's a different conversation to have. Some people will say yes, because it's more about the meaning than about the feeling than it is about the direct meaning of the words. But some people will say, no, he's clearly just putting words together that just sound nice.
That's what he said about Bohemian Rhapsody. He just said it was just a load of nonsense.
I didn't know that he actually said that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But so many people said it was his coming out song.
Yeah, and I think it was Roger or Brian said that they have a fair idea what the song is about, but they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
So it's all the time mixed messages as regards like, do people actually know, or is it just Freddie just saying like, Bismillah just fits in there and I'm just put it in there because of the fact he is he's Parsi, so he comes from kind of that area. Bismillah is a word that would be used before you would eat. So it's like a thanks word, whereby before you would eat, you say Bismillah, thanking for the food. So that's kind of one of the words that he would have been familiar with his growing up. There was a lovely story about Brian. You were talking about his astrophysicist and only getting his PhD more recently. His father took it very heavily. He didn't appreciate the fact that he said, like, you're ruining your life. You're joining a band. You have a very, very good education that you're currently in. You don't need to join the band. You should focus on education. So in 1977, Queen played what's that place in New York? Madison Square Gardens.
Oh, yeah.
And he flew his father out on Concorde. And after the show, his father said to him, I get it now.
Right. Oh.
So up until that point, their relationship was quite strained, purely because Brian had given up so much of his education.
Yeah.
But after that point, they were able to get kind of an understanding of what was going on, you know. But I definitely know that when Brian got his PhD, he was very proud because it fulfills that thing that his father, who died in 89, I think, that he had that. But I just love that thing. I get it now, you know. Just his father just coming out and saying, "I understand what you're doing."
Wow, what a story! Like, that's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible to have to go through that sort of thing. I mean, you got to wonder how many musicians go through that and don't have that kind of level of positivity and support and emotional closure.
It is amazing because I've seen interviews of our actors and musicians and so on, and I'm not sure, was it Janis Joplin? I mean, I can't remember offhand now, but I do remember an American female lyricist and musician of the 70s writing to her mother saying, like, what do you think of me now? Like, am I doing well? Looking for that validation. And so many people just still, even though they're adults and they might be in their 60s and 70s, looking for the validation from parents who may not have been able to give something back, you know. It is quite an ongoing theme. It's not just one person.
It is. I mean,
there
was even, I mean, probably the biggest one in terms of just sheer ubiquity and influence was going to probably be Michael Jackson, because part of the reason why he had so much work done was because of how cruel his father was to him. He needed that kind of like self-esteem. He kept on changing himself around. Like his nose got redone like 20 times or something like that because he was so paranoid about how his nose looked. Wow. He had to get millimeters like shaved off or moved around, and that apparently all stemmed from his father, who was of course the manager of the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
So
that's very sad, because when you look at his photos from maybe 82, 83, 84, when he was getting very huge numbers of sales on records, and he was, you know, very much on all music magazines. He was a very handsome guy. I mean, I know he probably had personal reasons going on, but I mean, he was people would look at that now and kind of go, what was wrong with you? Obviously he had other mental health problems regarding the messaging that was coming through from parents, which is very sad. But so thank you very much for coming on. We're just almost,
we got a bit deep there. That was it. It was building up.
You know, I mean, but that, like, music is art, and art should obviously command some level of depth when it comes. Isn't like unless it's a 3-chord trick and all you're playing is 3 chords and there's no, you know, my thoughts are that, like, if the song is worth singing and worth playing and has some depth, like you're saying, that I just come back on one of the points you made regarding Freddie and his lyrics. Meant to say that earlier on. He won an Ivor Novello Award for Killer Queen. So I mean, his lyrics were definitely recognized,
Yeah.
so he has
Oh,
won
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
Ev Novella for that. So
Some of them do actually have some, fantastic meaning to them. I don't know how much he was the primary lyricist on every single song, if it was like led by other
yeah,
band members a lot of the time. But he does have some great lyrics, some meaningful lyrics. I actually really like lyrics of Death on Two Legs, to be honest,
yeah.
because it was
Well,
just so raw and like honest. Some bits of it were, quite maybe a little bit too direct, but in some ways, I think that was only lent into its benefit
yeah,
because of the nature of what that song was about.
yeah, yeah. And for those people who don't know, he was writing about a music producer, as far as I remember, that had done him over and done
Dedicated
Queen
to a
over.
right.
Yeah. I think they were getting some ridiculously low level of pay at that time, and having
Yeah.
sold 3 albums and been on tour since 73, 74. So they weren't being dealt with very well. And Freddie just wrote that song. And if you look at the album, you have dedicated to ... So
That's not what he says live.
no, which is bleep, bleep, bleep. So have you any questions yourself as regards, like, this is supposed to be a chat. So if you have
Yeah.
any questions that you want to pose,
Um,
like them.
Well, I mean, I obviously want to know the answer for some of the questions that you've asked me. What would be your answers? So, if you could ask any of the Queen members, living or not, anything, what would it be, and who would it be to?
I think Brian, I would ask about more of his guitar technique, because I can play guitar and I can play all the solos, but they sound rubbish. And there's a
He's
video
got a
on
very particular
YouTube.
skill.
There's a video on YouTube of me playing Last Horizon, which is one of the Brian tracks from his solo works.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's actually a health warning on the video when you load it up on YouTube. It's I can play all the notes, but my plucking is horrendous, and there's something going on there that, although I know it with my fingers on the left hand, when I'm playing with my right hand, plucking the strings or whatever you do, that sort of thing, I'd be kind of going, Brian, look, have you got 10 minutes to have a look at something for me? Show me what you're doing.
Well, building on that, then, obviously, every single Queen song, and you can play every single Queen song. By the way, I still absolutely love your what was the video that you uploaded? It was like how to play the piano with "Keep Yourself Alive" or something like that.
Yeah, that was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah,
There's no piano on "Keep Yourself Alive."
Oh, brilliantly
April
done.
Fools, I did put up a video of me, and it's just me standing there like that with the chords. Yeah, so that was a bit of fun. But
that was
look,
good.
if you are a guitarist and you want to learn the song, the chords are there. You can follow on there. They're actually the accurate chords. But just off the piano, there's nothing going on.
Absolutely. But on off the back of that, for you, I'm not saying what is your favorite song, but what is your favorite song to play live, and why?
Okay.
What makes it so much fun and satisfying to just play?
Play the game. Play the game because of the fact it has all that and then what I do is I put in the Freddie stuff, so I go up the octaves, doom doom doom, so I'm putting in Freddie's live stuff in there. That's fun to play. We're hoping to add 7 Seas of Rye onto our list.
Oh, brilliant!
2026.
I've done that one live. I've done it live, but we didn't have a piano, so my guitarist just had to tap the intro, and it was that was
an
fun.
interesting song. So it starts in D, then it goes to B flat, then it changes down to a G or something, then back into D. It's mental song to play. So look, I think any song that makes you feel like you're not simply playing chords.
Yeah.
So Bohemian Rhapsody is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do like playing Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a lot of fun to do that. But
it is so
strange because like when I started learning in '93, like there's a book somewhere around here which has my scribbles of what I thought the chords were.
Right.
And it's hard to believe that back in '93 I was just writing them on a piece of paper, and now I'm playing in front of an audience with the same song. And you don't really soak it in. You don't really kind of look down and kind of go, oh my God, I'm doing this. It's like you do it. And then you watch the video of you doing it, kind of going, what have I just done? It's like, is that me?
I know exactly
What
what
are
you
my
mean.
fingers doing? That's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, there was an old joke that we used to have in the band, in my band, where because they noticed that I watched a lot of our live videos back like quite frequently. And
Yeah.
it was like, "Wild, why are you doing that sort of thing?" And the joke was, "Oh, I'm just wildly narcissistic." It's not actually that. It's like this kind of like sense of separation. When
Yeah.
I'm on stage, I kind of know I'm there, but
Right.
and I'm sure you can relate to this.
Yeah.
Kind of know I'm there, but at the same time, I'm maybe not taking everything in
No.
exactly as I
Yeah.
would if I was in the audience.
Hmm.
And then when I come off stage, I like think back to it, and it's like that does feel a bit dreamlike. Every single gig feels a little bit dreamlike.
Yeah.
Was I actually there?
Yeah.
And so I watch it back, and I can then experience what it's like for the audience. I view myself, and because I can't have that sense of direct connection, I'm able to view myself with a lot more objectivity,
Right.
and that allows me to think, oh, he did that bit rather well. Oh, that's where he needs to improve there.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, no, that makes sense there, sort of thing. And it allows me to improve as a
Yeah.
performer.
Yeah.
And
Very good.
and when I get it right, I go, hey, he did well.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel good because I then suddenly realize that was me.
Excellent.
So
That's a very good lesson actually to do. I mean, it's a very good lesson to not just go out and do a show. You're always trying to improve. You're always
yeah,
trying to, regardless of how many times you play a show or how many times you play a song, you need to be able to kind of go, well,
yeah,
can I do any of this better?
yes, every
So
time.
I record as much of the shows as I can, and I listen back. I would have to be critical of myself, and also because I'm music director for the show,
Mm.
I try to be listening into everybody else's parts and saying, "What next rehearsal we have?" I can say, "Look at the last show we did this, and this was a problem. Can we just focus on that?" And our bassist in the show, Darrell Craig Harris, he has a fantastic podcast called Music Matters. And Darrell came over to me at one of the shows, and he said, "Just let you know, with a lot of love, this section here you're playing for 2 beats and then 2 beats, and it has to be 3 beats and 1 beat or something." This is something
Right, yeah. Just those little bits. Yeah.
And what it was for me was I had learned it a certain way. And because I learned it over 20 years, it went in as a bad habit.
Yes.
But when you're playing live with a band and everyone else is going 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, and I'm playing 2 bars and 2 bars,
Yeah.
it's never going to fit.
Yeah. No, it's
So in a band, you've got to be able to say these things and kind of say, look, I'm not criticizing, but for the further improvement of the band, we need to be all on the same page.
You've got to have humility to be a good rock star. To be honest, like people think that they've got to be really big-headed. No, they have to be prepared to be told that they've done something wrong, and if they don't improve, they will get left behind. I mean, that with all musicians, obviously.
No, you are right. Yes, yeah. But the one thing I would say about any band, if there's anybody out there who are thinking about getting into a band and maybe don't want to, maybe because they're not good enough or whatever, just join the band.
Yeah, just
because you will learn fast. Firstly, second thing is you'll be able to get information from the other guys in the band who they might be more skilled, more knowledgeable, they might have more experience, but you can learn that from them. So you're all the time learning, and that just makes you better.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah,
it goes back to the old trope. Never be the smartest person in the room. True. I kind of I revel in that. Like I get worried when people are turning to me too much. Not because I'm thinking it's like, oh, I'm going to teach you wrong. It's because I'm thinking, right, I'm happy that I'm able to provide this benefit to people and help them. But I can't let this go to my head. I can't think I have all the answers because I don't.
No.
I need to make sure that I am also, in other instances, going out and learning more. If not just for myself, then these other people who are now, looking up to me.
Yeah.
I can't have them overtake me. I've got to make sure that I'm doing really, really well so that I can continue to provide benefit to them, things like that.
Yeah. I think learning new music as well helps because if you're all the time, like for example, if I'm all the time learning Queen, I don't get exposed to other styles and things like that. So I will often just pick a song and learn it.
Yeah.
Purely on the fact of just getting something different into my head.
Yeah.
And just learning new stuff and learning new techniques, learning new chord styles, learning new patterns. So things like that are very, very worthwhile doing as a musician.
Absolutely. Yeah. I occasionally perform with a friend of mine. She's a very good singer, and we kind of do a sort of a covers, sort of country inspired kind of duo going on there. And we're playing songs that I would never have even considered
Yeah.
learning. I learned that Dance Monkey song. Dance monkey, dance monkey, dance monkey, oh. I now know how to play that on guitar, and I would
I'd
never
have
have
to look it
thought.
up.
Yeah, tone and keys or something like that. I can't remember who does it, but it was like a really insanely popular song a few years ago, and it's still very popular, mostly with kids now.
Okay.
But learning that song on an acoustic guitar with a female vocalist, when originally it's like a full-on sort of like dance pop number, it forced me to have to learn, right, how can I translate that onto one man's acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
And it was a heck of a challenge, but it's so much fun to play. And I would never have considered learning something like that if I was only wanting to play blues or prog or just any one particular band sort of thing. So it's so helpful. Do that.
Yeah, you just get out and just try stuff and give it a go and
have fun.
Just work out. Have fun.
Have fun. That's vitally important. Number one should always be have fun.
I think that's if there's any message that comes from today's little chat, definitely music is fun. So
yeah,
I think Queen are definitely a band who are fun. If you look at everything they've done over all the years, things like Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon and all those little ditties, definitely a lot of fun.
Brilliant. I'm gonna after this, I'm gonna learn a new song that I haven't done before. I'm gonna learn Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna learn Yeah.
I'm gonna learn Yeah.
It's in a tricky key, you know.
Not sure if it's in my range.
On the guitar, it's a rest. Okay, so play that rest with feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Zander, thank you very much.
Can you keep yourself alive all over again?
It will actually be. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Before we end, we'll do the famous James Lipton questions at the end, which I know you're aware of.
Yep.
So, what is your favorite word?
At the moment, it's benefit, because it can have so many different connotations. Everything you do should have some kind of benefit, and that can look like many different things.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, I would say it's benefit.
That's a lovely word. A nice sentiment as well. Yeah. What's your least favorite word?
So for anybody who's watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, at the moment it's succulent, because it just sounds a bit weird at the moment if you say it in the wrong way. But before that, it was whatnot, because it just doesn't sound like a word at all. So but those are my two: whatnot and succulent. That's really succulent and whatnot.
Yeah. So basically, succulents and whatnots.
Pretty much, yeah.
What turns you on?
Passion.
Yeah, I think you've got to have that with everything you do. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Passion, enthusiasm, and passion. Definitely.
What turns you off?
Just to push it even further, like almost malevolent obsession, as in to the point where you can be passionate, but if you get to the point of like obsession where you think that things that are outside of that are rubbish and should be ignored, that's just that's not right. That's bad.
Dismissiveness.
Be passionate about your thing, but don't downplay the fact that there are other things out there.
Very true. Nice, very nice. What sound or noise do you love?
12-string guitar. I'm a basic fellow, but a nicely played 12-string guitar that's like perfectly in tune, and you hit maybe like a F sharp -7 chord, which is really difficult to play on a 12-string, because you literally just got to bar one finger like that, unless you do it, of course, and you got one finger down like that. If you get it right, it sounds brilliant.
Excellent. That's the chord I'm going to be trying on my basic crappy guitar in a moment. So yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
Getting that F sharp -7 chord wrong.
That's a good answer. That's a good. Here's a fun one. What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck waffle.
Okay, we haven't had that one yet. What profession? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say that actually has a very short story behind it. I was messing around with AI, ChatGPT specifically, and I was talking to it about, swear words and, words that would never be associated as being rude in any connotation. And I just asked it to put some together. I was just feeling a bit silly for 10 minutes. And that was one that came up, and now it's kind of made it into my friendship circles, like vocabulary. Just every now and again, that's the line, that's the word that comes out. It's hyphenated, so it counts as one word.
I like it very much. Well, that's gone into my lexicon now. So what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I mean, sometimes I would like to go back into physics, because I never made that into a full-time job. I got my physics degree, but I never applied it in a physics context. And physics is still something that I really enjoy and love. I love maths. I love numbers. At the end of the day, that's my thing. So maybe something to do with that.
Nice. Yeah. I know we've had conversations on this before, but yes, that'd be a lovely way for you to use your degree and do something that you're actually passionate about, which brings you back to the word passion.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
What profession would you not like to do?
I'm kind of done with office admin now. Sorry, all my previous employers, but it's not my bag anymore. I did it for a while. I learned a lot of Excel. Cheers for that. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I know. I left my office role in 2018, and I don't really. From time to time, I kind of miss the companionship of people around you. I mean, I work for myself, and I had my Christmas staff party recently, and I only showed up on my own, so that was pretty sad.
At least it was a 100% turnout. That's quite
true. That's true. Yeah, HR can be difficult though. Anyway, if you were stranded on a desert island, which Queen album would you take with you?
I would like to go for a Queen album that I've not heard before. So, not all the way through and not properly. So actually, it might even be Sheer Heart Attack, because I don't know a huge amount about that album.
For me, that's a non-skip album. Right. I would listen to the full album and not skip any songs.
Excellent. Is that so? It obviously has got Sheer Heart Attack. Is that the one with the ogre?
No, that's Queen 2.
That's Queen 2.
I believe.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to listen to that one before I go on the desert island. Then. But I do want to listen to Sheer Heart Attack, because obviously I don't know enough about it. So.
Yeah. Ogre Battle. I'm really sure it could be Queen 1. Have to listen to it in quite a while. But I would definitely recommend Sheer Heart Attack. That's Brighton Rock, Killer Queen.
There we go.
Ten Funster. Yeah. Very, very good.
So I've heard like a couple of the singles.
2 is excellent. Queen 2 has Procession, followed by White Queen. Very beautiful songs. Part of the Sun, all those. Really, really good album. And so take something that you haven't heard before. You can enjoy it.
Yeah,
but definitely Sheer Heart Attack is a great album to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to Greatest Hits 1, 2, and 3 so many times. I can play them in my head. So to have something a bit new to just expand it, it would only give me more enjoyment. Excellent.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I always enjoy a little bit of chaos. So first of all, I'd like him to look a little bit surprised, but then welcome me in anyway.
And then, sorry?
And then welcome me in anyway.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah, excellent. That's the bit of surprise, but still welcome me in anyway.
Excellent. I really, really like that. Excellent. Fantastic answers. Thank you very much, Zander, for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you.
It's called Killer Queen Conversations, and I think we did have a Killer Queen conversation today.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me and asking some fantastic questions.
Brilliant. And all the best with River Racks Media. Have you got any promotional stuff there in front of you? You can...
Oh, I do. So we have stress balls and everything, so you can see what it looks like there.
Excellent.
So our main focus, we do a lot of storytelling. We use video in order to help people with their content strategy and video production. So we don't just shoot really good videos. Yeah. We help people to shoot their own really good videos, but we also help them to shoot the videos that are best for them as part of their larger content strategy. Because, a nice video is nice to have, but you want one that actually works for you better. And we do everything we can to make that as functional and as stress-free as possible, which is why our stress cubes are square. Because if you have a stress ball, it rolls off and then it goes into the drawer and you never see it again.
Very good. Very interesting.
Here, it can stay there and it's not annoying. And also there's the added violent element of the corners if you want to throw it at someone.
Very nice. And unlike BBC, we won't be blurring out your logo. So
yes, you can utilize that logo as you so.
We won't be saying things like there are other media companies. which they're not. It's just you. So, yeah. Zander, I really, really enjoyed the conversation today, and thank you very, very much. And hopefully we will catch up very, very soon in person. Maybe.
Yeah. I look forward to that. It's always fantastic seeing you, Malia. So
brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much, and I'll see you again very soon. And thanks for joining me.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for tuning in to the Queen Fan Podcast here on Shane's Queen site, Killer Queen Conversations. We hope to see you again very soon. And we would like to thank our guest this week for joining us. Join us for more great conversations about Queen, their music, and what it means to be a Queen fan. See you again very soon. My name is Shane McDonald, and I hope you have a great day.
Killer Queen Conversation.